Think about the last time you bought something you didn't really plan to buy. Maybe it was late at night. You were lying in bed, scrolling through your phone, when a product suddenly appeared that felt strangely perfect. You tapped the picture, read a few reviews, imagined how it would feel to own it, and then your finger pressed that glowing little button that says Add to Cart. In that moment, there is a tiny burst of excitement, a small spark in your brain that feels rewarding, almost like you just won something. And most people think that feeling means they lack discipline. But the truth is much simpler and much kinder. Your brain is designed to chase that feeling. When you see something new and interesting, your brain releases a chemical called dopamine. Dopamine is not the pleasure chemical, like people often say. It is actually the anticipation chemical, the signal that tells your brain something exciting might be coming. Thousands of years ago, this system helped humans survive. Finding new resources, tools, or food meant a better chance of living another day. Our brains evolved to reward curiosity and discovery. But today, the modern world has learned how to trigger that same ancient system using product photos, limited-time offers, and perfectly designed advertisements. So when you feel that little rush while shopping online, it is not a personal failure. It is simply your brain responding exactly the way it was built to respond. But the real challenge with spending money is not that first purchase. The real challenge is what happens after your life slowly starts to improve. You get a better job, your income increases, maybe your apartment becomes nicer or your car becomes newer. And on paper, your life is clearly getting better. Yet strangely, your money still feels tight. Psychologists call this phenomenon hedonic adaptation, but most people know it by a simpler name, lifestyle creep. It describes how humans quickly get used to improvements in their lives until those improvements no longer feel special. Imagine your lifestyle as a treadmill. When you first step onto it, everything feels new and exciting, but over time, the speed slowly increases, and what once felt comfortable starts to feel like the minimum pace just to keep up. That is why someone earning $50,000 today can feel just as financially stressed as they did when they were earning $35,000 a few years ago. Their lifestyle treadmill simply sped up. The apartment became slightly nicer, the phone upgrade became normal, the occasional treat became part of the routine, and eventually the new lifestyle stops feeling like luxury and starts feeling like survival. But there is another psychological pattern that quietly pushes spending even further. It's called the Diderot effect. The Diderot effect describes how one new purchase often creates a chain reaction of additional purchases. The original item does not exist alone. It begins to change everything around it. Imagine buying a beautiful new jacket. At first, it feels like a single purchase, but when you wear it, suddenly your old shoes feel out of place, so you buy a better pair. Then your bag no longer matches the new look, and before long, you're upgrading multiple items you never planned to replace. What started as one purchase quietly multiplies, and the math behind this effect is surprisingly powerful. A $70 jacket might lead to a $100 pair of shoes, then a $60 bag, and suddenly the real cost of that original purchase becomes $230. The spiral rarely feels obvious while it's happening, but over time, these companion purchases quietly drain more money than the original item ever did. And if lifestyle creep and the Diderot effect were the only forces affecting our spending, managing money would already be difficult enough. But modern life introduces another powerful influence: comparison. Humans are deeply social creatures. For most of history, our sense of success came from how we compared ourselves to the people around us in our immediate community. But today, our brains are comparing our lives to millions of people online. Every time you scroll through social media, you see carefully curated moments of other people's lives: vacations, outfits, gadgets, restaurants, cars, apartments, and celebrations. And slowly, without even realizing it, these images start redefining what feels normal. Psychologists sometimes call this performative spending. It's when people spend money not because something improves their life, but because it improves how their life appears to others. The strange part is that we often spend money we don't have to impress people we don't even know. Social media algorithms quietly amplify this pressure. They show us more of the things we pause to look at. If you watch one luxury apartment video, you'll see dozens more. If you click on fashion content, your feed becomes filled with expensive clothing, and slowly the line between wants and needs begins to blur. One useful way to cut through this illusion is something called the cost per use rule. Instead of asking whether something looks impressive, you ask how often it will actually improve your daily life. If you buy a $200 jacket that you wear 200 times, the cost becomes $1 per use. But if you buy a $300 outfit that you only wear once for a photo, the real cost of that moment becomes far higher. This simple perspective quietly shifts the way you think about value. Once you understand the psychological forces behind spending, the next step is not to fight them with pure willpower. Instead, the goal is to redesign your environment so spending becomes slightly harder. This idea is known as adding friction. For example, one simple strategy is called the 72-hour rule. When you see something you want to buy that is not essential, you wait 3 full days before purchasing it. During those 72 hours, something interesting happens. The emotional excitement of the purchase begins to fade. Many items that once felt urgent start to feel unnecessary. Another powerful technique is removing your saved credit card information from online stores. When your payment details are stored, buying something takes only a few seconds. But when you must stand up, find your wallet, type the numbers, and confirm the purchase manually, the extra effort creates a moment of reflection. Sometimes that small pause is all you need to reconsider. The final strategy is something called value-based spending. This exercise is surprisingly simple. You open your bank statement from the last 2 or 3 months and look carefully at where your money actually went. Then you ask a very honest question. Does this spending reflect what I truly care about? Many people say they value travel, family time, health, creativity, or learning, yet their bank statements often show hundreds of dollars spent on things that brought only a few minutes of distraction. Seeing this gap between values and spending can be incredibly powerful, because the goal of managing money is not about cutting joy out of your life. It's about redirecting your resources towards the things that genuinely matter to you. When people first start thinking about money differently, they often assume the goal is restriction. They imagine budgeting as a life filled with limitations and sacrifice. But the deeper purpose of financial awareness is actually freedom. Every dollar you spend is a small vote for the type of life you want to build. When spending happens automatically, those votes are scattered in every direction. But when spending becomes intentional, your money begins to work towards something meaningful. Saving money is really not about hoarding numbers in a bank account. It's about funding the experiences, security, opportunities, and peace of mind that create a life you truly enjoy. And once you begin to see money through that lens, the question stops being, how do I stop spending? Instead, it becomes a far more powerful question. What kind of life do I actually want my money to build?